Like, seriously, I'm looking at the last 10 years, and I don't know if this is just a cycle of this decade, completing another decade, or I don't know, but I just feel like I have not had nearly as much fun as I should have had over the last 10 years. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is fun to do, but it's a mission. It's it's like, a serious thing. And it's like, have we taken the time to just chill and just like enjoy being here? And I've always said this, but I haven't really put it into practice. It's, if we're not enjoying being here, then there's no point in being here. Even if we have a mission to do, even if we have stuff to fix and all this, if we're not enjoying our lives, then we're wasting it. And unfortunately, that's what the truther kind of mentality gets you into. Like Asit was saying earlier, constantly being bombarded by, be scared of this, be scared of that. There's going to be war here. There's, flu here, and there's pandemic. All kinds of stuff. Yeah. And, geopolitics, as I was saying in the chat earlier, is a pretty interesting time, because right now it's not scripted. We've come to a place to where it's real now, whereas a few years ago it was all just scripted. But the cabal has lost its control over the geopolitical sphere, which I think is a manifestation of the energy that's taking place. The energies are shifting, so we're watching things happen like for real now. Right. And when you look at the geopolitical spectrum right now, everything is much more peaceful than it's been the entire time when geopolitics was all running a script, which makes it, in my opinion, even that much more interesting to sit back and observe. And you mentioned the whole Iraq and Iran thing earlier, and yeah, that's kind of a curveball, but had it been while the politics was scripted, it'd be total World War III at this point.
Oh yeah.
But things are, it's interesting to watch. The energies are clearing up. And there's a big shift that's taking place here in 2020. It's like, I feel like there's a separation. And maybe everything that I was experiencing leading into 2020 was, and I think a lot of people were experiencing too, it was the shedding of the old cycle. So of course, we're going to feel stressed. We're going to feel like there's something missing, like there's, I can't even describe it, but it's the ending of a cycle and the beginning of a new. So anyways, take us away, Mrs.
Well,
Gio.
it's the beginning of a new cycle that's not scripted, that we don't have to just follow along with whatever these archonic human entities decide what reality is going to be. We get to decide now what reality is going to be.
That's a good way to put it. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, we get to decide what reality is at this point, because we're totally off script, which is a good thing. Yeah. Now we can write our own script. We can write how we want things moving forward.
We're all players in this play, in this performance, this play, and characters in this play, and we are acting out our roles, but we get to decide what we want to do with it.
Well said. How can we practice the art of telepathy for the highest good, even in dream time? Let's grow towards self-empowerment too with telepathy, not to always rely on the techno-internet man-made. So I don't know if you can comment on that.
One way, well, telepathy, you would definitely need someone else to validate, and vice versa. So there are plenty of activities that you can do with people that you trust, and people that you trust to be in, sharing that kind of space with. You can just simply project an image in your mind and allow them to just see into what that might be, and just keep doing that. It can be just as simple as that, for just practicing the art of it, and getting used to doing it. And then eventually, of course, you'll start to see results. Also, another thing, just with intuition, if you have even if it's just playing cards, you can just flip your cards so where you can't see them, and then just get a sense of what the card feels like, and start to understand what your clairs are. How do you read? How do you intuit? What is your intuitive language? So if I'm touching a card and it feels like there's red, maybe it's red diamonds or something, with playing cards or something, and then I flip it over and it's red, then I just simply kind of go back and assess, how did I feel the red? Was it which one of my clear senses allowed me to channel into the red frequency in that way? So there are just a number of things that you can do to just practice and sharpening your intuitive skills and telepathy skills, of course, with someone else, another partner with that. So yeah, and I feel like we're definitely coming more into that analog way of communicating with each other, going back to that. So yes, that's a great thing to get into now, for sure.
Awesome.
But definitely have your filters. You got to know, because we have external frequencies that are also interfering and intercepting. So filter system. What is your filter system? That's also another thing. So you can filter out the external and really hear that internal organic part.
That's a very good point, and I'm glad you brought that up, because yeah, we're constantly bombarded with different frequencies and things like that. So I think a lot of the things that people get in their heads, well, not a lot, but some of them come from these external influences. That's why I say don't go outwards, go inwards. We have the answers here, but we're always looking for the answers out here, which to me is not reliable information. Here's the only reliable information. And the only thing standing in the way of here is this, the brain, because the brain likes to, play all kinds of stuff and jumble things up and bring external energies out into the brain. And so you bring it up from here, it goes to the brain, and then you're like, wait a minute. And you start questioning it because of all of this. And it's like, just go with what's inside. Go with your gut. That's what they say, go with your gut. And I don't think your guts ever misled you. It's this that misleads.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think that's going to be the requirement to even get through some of these stages, that we're about to get into. You're going to have to be really intuitive. So you might as well, if you haven't started yet, you might as well get to practicing now without judging yourself,
Very true. Very true.